Turns on the news to hear of a dog-fighting ring in her yard. Construction company owner Bobby Bolton is suing her former tenant for damages. Defendant Dimitri Franklin says the house was falling apart anyway. Now it's Joe time.
Let's see, Ms. Bolton, you appear to have been Mr. Franklin's landlady, and you complain that he and his family did a great deal of waste to your rental property, and they owe you for the extensive damages.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Franklin, you allege that your defense is based on having to move because the house was condemned, and you therefore did not have time to clean it. Now, let's say you rented your home to the defendant and his girlfriend starting December 1st, a couple of years ago. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what was the monthly rent?
$700 per month.
And it seems like something rather interesting happened in November. You indicate that a friend gave you a call and told you to turn on the TV.
Yes. I had an ex-tenant, a prior tenant that was living right across the street from this property.
All right.
But me and her, we still do talk. And she called me and said, you need to turn on the news, which I couldn't find it on the news, so I went to the internet and I saw my tenant on the internet.
You saw the defendant on there?
Yes.
What is it that you discovered was going on at the property?
Actually, I had to go and meet with the police and with the some type of district attorney over problem properties.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they started telling me there was dog fighting going on and that they had went there for shootings and some other occurrences that had happened.
Well, your public nuisance notice from the city indicates that there had been shootings at the location, weapons brandished, unruly behavior on the property.
Yes.
And publishing this, they had involved animal control who wound up confiscating 5 pit bulls, 60 pounds of chains, it's described, a treadmill, training bag, dog fighting videos, and plywood framing set up in the formation of a ring.
Yes, sir.
That's not true.
That's what I got.
That's not true.
It also looks like, from what you've submitted in your sworn accounting, that the property was so extensively damaged that the city condemned it.
Yes.
You had to restore the home at great expense and then petitioned the city to reverse the decision on the condemnation along with paying extensive fees and costs.
Yes, sir. In July, on July 30th of 2010, while they were tenants in the property, my house was, they came out and did an occupancy permit. I have a copy of that here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine.
Now, when did you get the condemnation notice?
After they came in on November 4th. I don't believe he was arrested, but that's when they went in investigating the dog fighting. I have a copy of that off the internet as well. That was on November 4th.
Okay, what did you find when you finally got an opportunity to inspect the home?
It was unbelievable. I mean, there were holes in the walls. I mean, there were cigarettes. There was broken windows. There were every interior door had to be replaced. When I saw the holes in the wall and I pointed them out to the inspector, he is the one that told me, oh, those were the cameras they had hanging on the bedroom wall. That was the ceramic tile kitchen floor. That was the backyard with all the kennels, some of the windows.
The house got broken into. That's where the windows got broke out.
Mm-hmm.
In the kitchen floor, it basically broke on its own. It was she didn't put it down right because it just broke up.
Mm-hmm.
How could we break up some ceramic tile? Look at all that damage. We couldn't did this from just walking on it.
It's filthy.
Yes.
And by the way, let's see, you're way over the jurisdictional limit in terms of what your actual costs seem to have been to restore this place. Let's go to the defendant. Mr. Franklin, what do you have to say about this?
Well, when we first moved in the house, we didn't do a proper walkthrough because it was damage done. When we first got in the house, like, the foundation was cracking, and it's all in the list when the guy came and condemned the house. And Like the floors cracking and the cabinets fell off the wall. That stuff happened just by us living there and putting stuff in the cabinet.
That isn't what ordinarily happens when somebody lives someplace. I mean,
exactly.
It's like
the house fell apart while we were living there.
The house doesn't fall apart like that. I'm looking at the citation here, the nuisance, public nuisance notice, City of St. Louis.
The neighborhood was bad. That was just
well,
going
the
on
neighborhood
around
would have been bad, but it looks like this was a focus of the bad.
But Judge Joe Brown, the lady next door to my house, she said that she was getting ready to move. She was so happy they moved because she couldn't even let her kids come out and play because he had been shot at a couple of times. And she said that the bullet hit her house and hit her car, I do believe.
Well, I mean, it's not a short report. I mean, it's a pretty long one.
And I'm having to run back and forth to meetings with the city, with the district attorney, and with the police, and it's like I'm living there.
But she know for a fact that when we first moved over there, we was getting harassed by some guys that lived around the corner. She even came over there with guns and stuff.
Oh!
Well, you know,
she came over
I don't
with
find
guns,
anything particularly offensive about a decent citizen being armed. You know, she's not as big as you, but if she is able to exercise her Second Amendment rights and become proficient, that kind of puts an equality into the whole equation. So I've got no problem with anybody being armed. And I understand bad neighborhood. I mean, the cities are going down, but don't you know why they're going down? It's because, you know, there are no men out there to go deal with making sure that there's public peace, dignity, safety, and order.
Amen.
Because the men don't have that man training anymore.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
The dog fighting videos they cite in here, and
the dogs were for protection. As soon as the dogs got confiscated,
as
soon as dogs got confiscated, the house got broke into the same day.
5 pit bulls.
And later today,
I stayed with her for 2 weeks, Judge Joe Brown.
You say you two were friends, and she says you were boyfriend, girlfriend.
And all right. That's not true, sir.
Judge Joe's School of Man Up continues after this.
Man up. I'm trying to tell you to man up.
Man Up, today on Judge Joe Brown.
we're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff in this case says she was horrified to hear her tenant was running a pit bull dog fighting ring at her home. She says she went to the property to find it completely destroyed. The judge will weigh in next.
The pit bull situation, 5 of them? I don't expect you to confess to any criminal activity. I wouldn't want you to, because you're innocent until proven guilty. 60 pounds worth of chains. Your statement to them that the treadmills were because you was too dangerous to go out and walk the dog.
No,
and then we got the dog fighting videos they cite in here, and
the dogs were for protection. As soon as the dogs got confiscated, as soon as dogs got confiscated, the house got broken into the same day.
5 pit bulls.
As soon as they got took, the house got broken into the same day.
Yeah, as soon as
we have police reports that the house was broken into, and that's where the damage got done at.
That's where the damage was done, on the back door.
No, they ripped the wires down, and they tore a lot of stuff up in the house.
I mean, part of this petition is the numerous reports of caps being popped around the place.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, from the place, and the neighbors complaining, and their investigation that shows from the location of the bullet impacts around and about it was coming from that particular locus.
Somebody got shot down the street and he ran to my house so I could call the police. She been in the house when we lived there. We kept the house nice.
It's ridiculous. She hadn't been in that for a while. It went down. What happened?
It went down when the house got broken into.
They didn't do that when somebody broke in the house.
And then another part of the damage came in when the police entered the house. They tore up a lot of those. That's where all the holes in the wall come from. They was looking for something they didn't find.
Granted, I have seen the aftermath of many a search warrant being served, and it's a wreck.
Yeah, I had to clean up the house for 2 days.
That's filth. That's dirt.
I don't live
That's
filthy.
Inexcusable.
I don't live filthy.
That's inexcusable. The report from July 30th sent to her by August 9th, that's dated, shows that they inspected it. The premises was fine, in compliance with the city ordinances. What they send in November shows something entirely different.
Well, the new house I'm living in, I don't have none of those issues going on.
Well, you're responsible. Now, this is a nice lady. She's making it. She's got a construction business. And she's got rental property. She doesn't need this torn up like this. So learn from this, do better, and don't let it happen again. 3,000, which is the jurisdictional limit.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Man up, son.
And this courtroom is now in recess.
Hey, look, the defendant's back on TV. Although this time the plaintiff knew about it, and instead of pit bulls, we have one big bill for destruction that the defendant will pay. Now we're on to the next case.